You know that feeling of constantly hitting financial walls, even when you're busting your butt, making sacrifices, and trying to do all the right things? It's like there's an invisible force holding you back, preventing you from building real wealth or even just feeling secure. And I know that this isn't because you're lazy or not smart enough, but because your deeply ingrained habits and the very routines you've built are subtly, silently, sabotaging your financial future. We really need to talk about this. And look, I'm not here to dish out some empty motivational speeches or tell you it's all going to be easy. It's not. But there's a different path, a path to real clarity, to understanding why you're stuck, and more importantly, how to actually get unstuck. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 undeniable signs that your current mindset and daily habits are actually programmed for financial failure. And no, it's not some magic formula, it's about understanding the foundations that truly change how you operate and how you attract or repel money. If you're genuinely tired of generic advice and want to grasp the real mechanics behind financial transformation, stick with me until the very end, because we're about to dismantle some heavy beliefs that have been costing you a fortune. Are you ready to face these truths and unlock a path to real change? Alright, let's dive into the first critical signs that your financial destiny might be on autopilot towards failure, and it starts with something most people completely overlook: your social circles and the environment you choose to inhabit. Sign 1: your social circle is a financial landfill, and you're still shopping there. Have you ever stopped to think about why it's so incredibly difficult to distance yourself from people or places that are clearly toxic, especially when it comes to your financial mindset? There's this immense weight of guilt, this fear of being labeled selfish for wanting more, for aspiring to a different financial reality than those around you. You might rationalize it, saying, "Oh, they're just family," or "these are my lifelong friends," even when their conversations consistently revolve around scarcity, victimhood, and why everything is too expensive or impossible. I've been there. I had people in my life who, every time I talked about a new project or an investment idea, would instantly pull out the "what ifs," the "it's too risky," the "who do you think you are?" It's not malicious, it's just their own programmed mindset projecting onto you. But the thing is, this constant negative input isn't just annoying, it's actively shaping your financial decisions. Let me explain the science of environment, and this is crucial. Think of your environment, especially your social environment, like a diet. Just as you are what you eat, you are, to a massive extent, what you absorb from the people, conversations, and places you surround yourself with. A bad environment is like a constant drip of poison. It drains your energy, it limits your thinking, and it subtly, but surely, reprograms your subconscious. If your circle constantly talks about debt, about how hard it is to make money, about how rich people are evil, guess what? Your brain starts internalizing that as your truth. It becomes your default setting, your routine. You start seeing obstacles instead of opportunities. Your financial clarity gets muddled, your focus gets dispersed, and you find yourself stuck in a cycle of procrastination when it comes to any bold financial action. You need to protect your mental input as fiercely as you protect your physical health. Imagine trying to eat healthy while living in a fast food restaurant. It's almost impossible not to absorb some of that junk. Your financial ambition is no different. If your mental food is cheap, processed, and full of negativity, don't expect a thriving, energetic financial life. Moving on to another layer of why your habits and social dynamics might be locking you into financial stagnation. Sign 2: you prioritize sentiment over sense, and it's costing you real money. This is where it gets really uncomfortable for a lot of people, because it touches on loyalty and shared history. But here's the brutal truth: if you want real change in your financial future, you simply cannot afford to maintain childhood friendships or relationships that actively pull you down. I know, it sounds harsh. But the real cost of misdirected loyalty is immense. It's not just emotional, it's a very tangible drain on your energy, your time, and your financial potential. You might spend years trying to fix or convince people who are simply not on the same wavelength, who actively resent your growth, or whose conversations only reinforce a scarcity mindset. I remember feeling so much internal conflict over this. There were people I genuinely cared about, but every conversation left me feeling depleted, questioning my goals, or just focused on petty drama instead of building something. It was like I was constantly paying an invisible, toxic tax on my time and mental clarity. This isn't about ditching everyone who isn't a millionaire. It's about recognizing the input mental that's shaping your decisions. If your inner circle only sees problems, blames external circumstances, and criticizes anyone who tries to break free from the mold, how can you ever cultivate the courage to take calculated financial risks, to focus on building wealth, or to even believe it's possible for you? These people, often unintentionally, become your financial anchor, pulling you back into familiar, yet unproductive, waters. The inability to make a conscious decision to shift these relationships is a massive sign that your financial mindset needs a serious overhaul. Sign 3, you haven't learned the art of the conscious goodbye. This leads us directly to the courage of goodbye. Because deep down, many of us struggle to cut ties, even with those who are detrimental to our financial growth, because we feel immense guilt. We think we're being egoista, selfish, if we choose our own well-being over a draining relationship. But here's a hard-hitting perspective: if the roles were reversed, would these same people hesitate to say goodbye to you if it served their convenience? Often, the answer is no. This isn't about bitterness, it's about acknowledging reality and giving yourself permission to protect your own energy and your financial trajectory. I've had to make some incredibly tough choices. It felt like tearing a part of myself away. But the moment I started consciously saying goodbye to environments and people that were draining me, even if it was just reducing contact, something shifted. My mental energy freed up. My focus became sharper. I started making decisions that truly aligned with my financial goals, not with the need to please or fit in with a group that didn't understand. This isn't about being mean or arrogant. It's about understanding that your financial success requires a certain level of intentionality, and sometimes, that means letting go of what no longer serves you. It's a habit that needs to be developed, the courage to prioritize your growth. If you're constantly compromising your values or your financial aspirations to maintain status quo relationships, that's a huge sign your mindset is not set up for financial abundance. You deserve to be surrounded by people who lift you up, who challenge you to be better, who celebrate your wins, and yes, who also understand the journey of building wealth. Now, let's tackle the final, crucial habits that signal a mindset potentially programmed for financial failure, and it's all about how you actually rebuild and move forward. Sign 4, you're still expecting quality financial input from a desert. So, you've recognized that some of your existing social circles are less like a nourishing spring and more like a barren desert for your financial growth. But what then? Many people get stuck here, saying, "But where do I find these good people?" Or worse, they fall back into the same old routines, expecting different results. This is a critical sign of financial confusion, the inability or unwillingness to actively seek out and build a supportive network. You might be so accustomed to the landfill of negativity that you simply don't recognize quality input when it's right in front of you. I know how isolating this journey can feel, especially when you start making conscious decisions to move differently. For a long time, I felt like I was the only one trying to figure out how to build a different financial future, while everyone else seemed content to complain. But here's the truth: good people, people who are building, who are learning, who are growing financially and personally, they do exist. The challenge is, they're often not in the same places or engaging in the same conversations as those who are stuck. You have to actively seek them out. This might mean joining new communities, attending workshops, online or offline, reading books by people who embody the financial success you aspire to, or following creators who offer genuinely valuable mental input. The habit of seeking out elevating content and connections is as important as any budget or investment strategy. If you're not actively curating your input you're leaving your financial mindset vulnerable to whatever comes your way, which often leads to dispersed focus and undirected effort. Sign 5. You have no strategic exit plan for financially draining situations. Finally, let's talk about the absolute most critical sign of all: the lack of a survival system and a clear exit plan when you can't immediately leave a financially draining or toxic environment. Whether it's a soul-crushing job that pays the bills but kills your spirit, or family dynamics that constantly push you towards financial failure beliefs, simply tolerating it without a strategy is a programmed routine for stagnation. This isn't about blaming, it's about conscious action. I vividly remember being in a situation where leaving my job wasn't an immediate option. I had responsibilities, bills, and no magic wand. But instead of just complaining, I decided to treat every single spare minute as an investment in my escape. I would wake up an hour earlier to study new skills. I'd use my lunch break to plan my side hustle. My evenings, instead of being spent watching TV, were dedicated to building a different future. This wasn't easy. It required immense discipline and focus. But it gave me a sense of empowerment that eventually led to real change. This isn't just about accumulating money. It's about shifting your internal narrative from "I'm stuck" to "I'm strategizing my liberation." Your mindset needs to recognize that even when circumstances are difficult, you always have the power to allocate your time and energy towards a better future. If you're not using your free time, even a small amount, to educate yourself, create a side income, or map out your escape route from financially limiting situations, you are, by default, accepting your current reality. This habit of strategic action, even when constrained, is the bedrock of financial success. And if you're missing it, that's your clearest sign yet. So, we've walked through some uncomfortable truths, haven't we? The idea that your mindset is actually programmed for financial failure isn't a judgment, it's a diagnosis. It's the inevitable awakening that the small, often unseen, habits and routines we've built, especially around our social circles and environmental input, are silently dictating our financial future. We talked about the insidious nature of toxic environments, acting like a landfill for your financial beliefs, constantly polluting your mental space with scarcity and doubt. We exposed the high cost of misdirected loyalty, showing how prioritizing sentiment over sound financial sense can drain your precious energy and stifle your growth. And we confronted the courage of goodbye, that hard but necessary decision to protect your own journey, understanding that your financial ascent often requires you to shed old connections that no longer serve your higher purpose. Finally, we emphasized the absolute necessity of a strategic exit plan and the habit of actively seeking out nourishing inputs, even when you feel stuck. It's about being proactive, about building your own perfume store of elevating ideas and people, rather than passively accepting the landfill. This isn't just about money, it's about liberation, about clarity, about a profound shift in your mindset that impacts every facet of your life. When you truly understand these foundations and commit to conscious action, you reclaim your power. You move from confusion and dispersed focus to strategic action and real change. You don't need magic, you need clarity and the courage to apply it consistently. Look, I've been there, truly. I've felt the paralyzing guilt of wanting something different, of feeling like an egoista for prioritizing my own growth, especially when it came to my financial mindset. I spent years surrounded by people who loved me, but whose programmed beliefs about money and success were pulling me down, almost invisibly. It took a lot of painful honesty with myself, a lot of uncomfortable decisions, to start consciously curating my environment and understanding that my inner circle was directly impacting my outer financial reality. This isn't about being perfect. I still make mistakes, I still have to continually reassess my inputs and my routines. But the profound clarity that came from doing this allowed me to shift from a place of undirected effort to one of intelligent productivity. It wasn't about finding a magic solution, it was about recognizing the problem at its root, acknowledging my own role in maintaining it, and then taking strategic action, one small habit at a time. It's a journey, not a destination. And the most empowering part? You are not stuck. You have the power to change these programs. You have the power to cultivate new habits, to seek out new circles, and to build a mindset that actively works for your financial success, not against it. It's a decision you make, every single day, to protect your mental input and to consciously design the environment that will propel you forward. If this message resonated deep down, if you felt a flicker of recognition in any of these signs, then this isn't just another video. This is a moment of clarity, an invitation to real change. I'm not going to ask you for generic likes or subscriptions. But if you're truly ready to stop letting your habits dictate your financial future, if you're ready to build a mindset that supports your goals, then there are more videos on this channel designed to give you that kind of foundational understanding. So, here's my challenge for you. Comment below with which of these signs hit you the hardest. Which one are you ready to focus on changing first? Your public commitment can be a powerful first step. And if you're serious about being part of a community that values authentic transformation and conscious action over quick fixes and superficial motivation, then consider subscribing. It's not about the numbers, it's about building a tribe of people who are genuinely committed to their inevitable awakening. Let's keep this conversation going.